Hey you guys, welcome back to the vlog. In this video I want to talk a little bit about the content and social media strategy that I've been working on for the last few months and what that involves and really looks like. In an earlier video, I talked about how we're working to create individual brand ecosystems for each of our brand verticals, which means making sure that they are self-contained, self-nurturing, self-feeding, self-growing in their own lane, while also cross-feeding when it makes sense. And what that means is that each brand has its own purpose. It has its own audience, demographic, psychographic that it truly serves the best. And while people who work with me and who come into my world and follow me tend to follow a specific path, they're coming in at different points. So we want to make sure that each of the different brands is really serving the person that it is meant to serve as best as it can. One of the ways that we've been really looking at establishing those individual ecosystems is our content and social media strategy. So if you have worked with me in any capacity around building a business, you know how much I harp on content. Create consistent content. Have a regular and consistent conversation with your audience before you even know what you're selling. If you're not sure what it is that you're doing, creating content is the foundation for building a solid brand and following, and overall having the right people in your sphere when you are ready to launch something or when you do have a next step that you want them to take so that you can really help them in the ways that you want to help them. So content is everything. Thankfully, that is advice that I have always followed myself. It's not just something I tell other people. From the very beginning, I started creating content before I even knew exactly what it was that I was selling on StephenieZamora.com. I wrote at that time a lot about the quarter life crisis and really uncovering who you are and who you're here to be. It was different at the time because it was almost a decade ago, but that was my message. That was what I wanted to talk about. So I started creating content a good 9 months before I even had anything to sell to my audience. And it was one of the best things I could have done because then I had people there who were already building trust with me, who were already agreeing and following and resonating with my message, who could step into the next level and take the program when I launched it. So while we have a really big mission of being the future of life purpose development, it is going to take time to get all of our brands to where we want them to be and ensuring that they're serving people in the way that they're meant to. So each of the different brand verticals has a different focus. Our audience, everyone that follows us, that comes into our world, that consumes our content, that takes our programs or works with us through one of our services, is the same person at different points on the journey. And our work is really focused on life purpose development. So that is a common thread through everything that we do, but each individual brand and website and offering and content, each conversation that we're having is different because it's speaking to someone at a different point on that journey. Our first focus is on growing Call of the Void. So I have been working really hard on getting the Unravel book ready to release in November. I have been digging into different SEO programs and learning a lot about that and really thinking through what is the content as well as looking at how we're going to rework the journey mapping program for the spring. It's going to be really great, really exciting, building on what's already there and what has already proven to work in a way that is really nurturing to our people. So I'm excited about that. We're also going to be launching a podcast. So those are some of the big initiatives that we're really focused on in the coming months. At the same time, I want to make sure that content foundation is in place for each brand. So we've set up some different processes and systems and flows and brought on certain team to really help with that. One of the big things that we're doing is looking at how to repurpose content. So I have been doing this business for almost a decade, and I have tons of content to pull from, tons of content that people haven't seen in years that is still relevant and powerful, tons of content that has been used in different formats that we can repurpose. So what we're doing is we've created a flow to where we can mine through all that old content and create social media content to go out to Instagram and Facebook for your passion-based business, for Call of the Void. And then Awesome Life Tips is just daily tips going out every day. So we've been going through and creating a system and a flow to ensure that there's new content every day on those channels that may be repurposed, may be brand new, but either way is still really relevant and really powerful and really supportive to our audience. That's one thing that we're doing. The second thing that I have done is I have hired a copywriter for the first time, specifically to work on your passion-based business. So we can create one brand new piece of content, one new article, one new newsletter that goes out to our list for that segment every week. And the reason that I did that, as I've shared before, is that right now my focus in terms of content creation is really on the Unravel book. It's really on content for my personal brand, Stephenie Zamora, as well as Call of the Void. And so it's not an area that I am feeling inspired and compelled to create content around. And there's so much content that has already been created that this copywriter is going through my work, my words, and creating new formats for that content, new ideas that go deeper into it that really support that audience in a way that feels good both to me and them. So it goes through me before it goes out to anyone. The voice, the material, the messaging is really important to me, that it stays in line with what it is that we do, which is really helping people do the work they're here to do through that brand. But it's been a big deal and it's been really great. I've really loved working with her and she has become a really valuable asset to the team. So that's a second way that we are really laying that content foundation for that particular brand. The last thing that I have been doing is coming up with a big marketing calendar, which I'll share actually in a different video and kind of walk you guys through what it is that I do, but really getting clear on the overall strategic plan for what our goals are, what it is that we're doing with each brand and when, and how we're going to really start building them up one by one in a way that is really intentional and really aligned with the overall vision of the company as a whole. I am going to be creating a lot more content. So behind the scenes for the last month or two, I've just been really in the process of getting the systems and flow in place. So I have been creating new content. It's been a little sporadic when it comes out, but we have a plan for it to be much more consistent in terms of when I'm doing these types of videos about the company and behind the scenes and kind of what I'm doing in the world. When we're doing videos for Call of the Void, what's going into the Call of the Void Facebook group so that it's exclusive, it's special, it's its own container where we can have certain conversations. What content is going out for your passion-based business? Where are we repurposing and when? So all of that has kind of been where my head has been, where I've been focused, and I feel like we've really got a system and a flow and a schedule that's going to work great for us. So expect to see a lot more videos going forward. I'm also working on redoing my set, so I rearranged my office. If you look at the old videos, I'm kind of in the corner because I was blocking out the cat climber. So I've moved some things around, finally got the whiteboard hung. We're going to do some temporary wallpaper back there, something classy, I promise. Just to create something that feels a little better, feels a little more on brand, a little more visually interesting without being distracting for the videos that I shoot here. And hopefully I'm going to start shooting more videos outside on adventures too. But that's just kind of where I've been. The intention of this video series has always been to bring you guys behind the scenes and share what it is that we're doing. So I have a ton to share with you about the book. There are 2 books launching in November. A ton to share with you about what I've been learning about SEO, what I've been doing to work on the websites, the marketing calendar, the new team, just all the stuff that's going on. So I'm really looking forward to sharing more of that. As always, if you have any questions or if there's something specific that I can share, don't hesitate to reach out and ask me. All right, I will catch you soon in another video.